you know what I think is really interesting? A lot of MMA fighters and boxers watch battle rap. A lot of athletes watch battle rap. And at the same time,
a lot of soldiers watch battle rap also.
I asked them, I asked every fighter that I ever met, who taught you the art of war, right? Who taught you that a wounded enemy is more dangerous than a man who's healthy sometimes? Like, who taught you how to respect people's weaknesses? Who taught you that you don't defeat a man by exploiting the weaknesses? You defeat someone by turning the strengths into
against
weaknesses.
him, yeah.
So who teaches you the art of war? I think it's interesting because it's not just who taught you how to rap on stage as a battle rapper. I would be interested in seeing who was a person's swag mentor. Like, who taught you the self-confidence, in other words, that you need to be on stage? Where did you get that from? Not just the bars, but who taught you? I don't wet this person at all. I solidified my spot with gorillas. Who were the gorillas that said to you, I'm gonna teach you how to solidify your spot? Because essentially what you're saying, I can stand here and you can't move me. Not by intimidation, not by your words. I'm not moved by your words figuratively. Right. I'm not moved by nothing you're gonna do like physically. Right. Someone taught you. Who was that person in your life? Or who were those people in your life?
Wow. If I it would be a list of people. Name one. There's a brother from my neighborhood named Will, a brother named JB, Troy Ave, not Troy Ave the rapper, but Troy Ave the crew. They were from my hood and they moved a certain way. Biggie, Tupac, 50 Cent. You know, like you just pick things up along the way. It's never just one person unless that person is just a stable in your life, like your father, your uncle, or someone who's gonna be around. You kind of pick up pieces from everything that you see. And there were just multiple pieces.
Because the one thing that I always remind people that say, oh, battling is whatever, anyone can get it. I remind people, one thing that I think is really overlooked, and you know this for sure, it takes a lot of self-confidence to get up there. And for someone who's used to having self-confidence, you don't realize how terrifying that is to the majority of people that are actually watching this. The majority of people would be dumbfounded in a room full of like 800 people booing you, screaming at you. Like, I remind people, it's like being the opening act. Right. I've been the opening act for Wu-Tang when they're like 2 hours late. Right. I've been the opening act for Rakim when he's an hour and a half. They don't want to fucking hear you. Right? Yeah. And as a battle rapper, if you're not the upper card of people, sometimes it's been 4 hours since the battle. They don't want to fucking hear you. You have to have the self-confidence to walk into a room full of people that don't want to fucking hear shit.
Now here's a question. Them listen. Fit, are you nervous before a battle? Me too. It's there. We just get better at not showing it.
I think
that's it.
I don't really get confidence more so from like people per se. I think I feed a lot off of the fans, right? And like the energy that I'm getting. Yeah. Right. I think I feel confident when I'm preparing for it. When I know I got something good, right? Yeah. But I think the confidence comes more from people reassuring me that they're good. So that's why I feel like during a battle, you can even see it. It progresses. It just supercharges. Right. And when I said something good and I know it's good, I'm just like, and I just start doing things. Like,
it's like you start to get bigger.
Know what I mean? Like I freaking flicked my hair in one battle, and I'm like,
I don't flick my hair.
Where did that come from? It just came from like, like
styling on it.
I feel more stylish. For that 1 second, my hair felt like it flowed perfectly. Like I felt like my skin was glowing a certain way. So I really feel like, that energy that I get from the crowd, it really matters, right? Because when they don't react, then you're like, okay, wait. Yeah.
My hair doesn't flow. And I don't think I've ever felt like my skin is glowing. It's funny but I feel like the biggest person in the room.
You bring that up. I feel like I was watching, I don't know, I remember it was Sports Center, ESPN, but you reminded me of something that I think Jalen Rose said. He goes, what's the greatest advantage that you have? And he's like, what is home court advantage? And he's like, that's like 80%. Yeah. He goes, you don't know what it means to have 60,000 people screaming, go, yeah, we got you. That's it's like, so if that's a microcosm of it, you got a section of people that just believe in you. Yes. And then when the fans get you rolling, it builds with that.
Yeah, and
So
then
then losing momentum is the worst thing for a situation.
I always tell everybody, the worst sound to hear in battle rap is silence.
Yeah.
When you don't hear anything, it drives me crazy. Like my head is moving, my mind is just
You don't know what's going
so
on.
fast.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
you really
oh my
don't
God,
know what's going on.
I can't
Is it
believe
working?
Like, like that's just a sign of.
You're like,
no.
why are they silent?
No.
And if you're thinking that while you're
throw
trying
you
to
off.
remember your rhymes,
It's not good.
it's not gonna be a good show. But battle rap, we're still on battle rap. Scribble Jam,
Rocksteady, Blaze
Rocksteady,
Battle,
Blaze Battles.
all of them. I learned
How
from
many-
one of the best.
how many stars?
I had a great teacher, and his name was Breeze Everflowing.
Woo! Y'all don't even know who that is. Y'all don't even know who that is. Yo, Breeze, I remember being at the Pyramid, having no clue on who Breeze Everflowing was. By the end of the show, I had to walk up to him and be like, yo, you're amazing, bro.
Yo, he came to my show in Florida. We was just doing a prelude to the Middle Passage tour. Just like leaking joints and just doing small venues, pack them in for the fans. And he came in, he can rhyme in like English, and he's from Brazil, so he can rhyme in Portuguese too, he flips it. And basically, he was a person that I knew who was a freestyler who was really good and was the head of a crew called Stronghold with a bunch of other people. But he was one of the people that really was like, yo, you have a lot of raw talent. You just have to focus it. And the way he explained it to me is like, you could shoot a hose at a bunch of people and knock them over. That's fine. He said, but if you concentrate that beam of water, you could cut all those people in half.
Yeah.
I thought about that for a while. I was like, thank you, Breeze. I shall cut all these people in half. And I went for, and listen, I turned the strong points into the weak points. I made people feel less confident in themselves. I would see if I could make them stumble. You take any angle you can, right? You distract them by turning them against the crowd. You turn the crowd against them. You force them to take a position that they wouldn't normally take, right? You want to diss me? Okay, fine. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to do, but you find a way to kind of to make their attacks useless. You know what I mean? Like they were playing before.
I call that taking your legs. First round.
Before 8 Mile, there were plenty of rappers I've seen who diss themselves, right? And the realest thing I thought about that fucking movie is when he goes home with nothing. Because that's exactly the shit that used to happen. We went home with $200 fucking dollars. 200. Yeah, we thought we was the man because we could pay for everybody's meal at the Westport Diner, right? Because we could go to Gray's Papaya and get food. Like niggas was battling to eat. We were like animals in SeaWorld. We were doing tricks for food. Like niggas was starving.
I got to say that I'm the best and get that
Fucking
respect.
no, because all the niggas I was with, man, they came from water and cornflakes. Like niggas had nothing, bro.
Have you ever been on the
funny.
same event as Eminem?
Yeah, I opened up for D12, and I think I
No,
did.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about
He was
back
with that.
then with Scribble Jam and all that stuff.
No. I'm trying to think. No, he did the Scribble, I think, the year before. And then I was locked up from 98 to 99. So by then, he had already moved to doing, like, music. Penn actually did an event with him and then hung out with him a couple times. And then the person that I knew, that I actually could say that I knew and that I was cool with, was Proof. And he was a really down-to-earth dude.
Yeah.
And man...
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, of course. And big shout out to Detroit and Proof's family. Always show major love. And I always showed him major love because when we first met, I remember there was some tension because Green Lantern had just left JD and I just did a project with Green. And then me and him just sat in the room and talked because I was with a bunch of people and he was with a bunch of people and he just had like a really fresh perspective and I felt like he had such good energy. Like he was a peacemaker, a good person. And when I heard he got killed, I was genuinely heartbroken. Yeah. So I can't imagine how it affected his friends. And that's something else I tell people, like, you know, maybe Jay Arch wasn't the most prominent rapper in the crew, but he was my heart. Like, he was a good dude. He was a person who talked me out of hurting a lot of people. Yeah. Like, he was a person that everybody thought he was
you wouldn't expect it.
6'8", 400 pounds.
He was the gentle giant.
Right.
He was really the gentle giant. But if you didn't know him, he was just the giant that was gonna hurt you if you
terrified.
if you did the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying?
always
But
so good.
talking with him, conversations, and chilling with him, like you get a different perspective. You know what I mean?
Right, and I think what was interesting is I remember that he told me that he was like, I only was violent because I was bullied in school. And he was like, and I was bullied in school because I was the biggest kid. And people always made fun of me, and the reason they got away with it is because whenever I retaliated, they would say that I hit them and I started it.
Right.
So he's like, everybody would always say I was stupid because I was big, and they would make fun of me because, you know what I mean? Because I didn't have money for braces and shit.
Right.
And I'd be like, my nigga, I was broke as hell. Niggas used to call me toast and coffee because the only thing I could afford to eat was toast and coffee. 50 cents for coffee, 50 cents for toast.
What age was that? You was
I was
supposed to drinking
I was
coffee.
like 14 years old. I couldn't
14, they was going
nigga,
toast and coffee?
Niggas
Who was
tell you
drinking
right
coffee?
Now, dude, when I started robbing people, I finally could afford like the lobster fried rice over there on 135th. So I was like, that I literally stole, not just to eat, obviously I could eat at home, but I remind people, they try to charge you at the lunch counter. And my pops was an immigrant, so he was like, here's $1 for lunch and $1 for this. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to spend this $1 getting to school because I'm not gonna make the bus. Then if I have to spend this $1 on lunch or on breakfast, I don't get no $1, I don't get nothing for lunch.
Right.
So I just saved up them dollars and I bought a weapon and money started flowing. And it was like, hey, everybody was ready to give it up. But no, I think one thing that I always remember about like that time and the people that taught me it is like I say, everybody looked out and I felt like there was a big community. And it was also, if one other thing I could bring up that was different from my era is there were a lot of places where everybody would just congregate that were open.
Yeah.
Right? Like Fat Beats.
I feel like we're
People
missing
would
that
just
now.
Be there. There would just be a place where people would be.
The pyramid.
The pyramid. And then afterwards, it was always a marketplace, right? For music, for merchandise. You could get anything.
Right.
And it was just, you knew it was going right to the artist. So it was pretty much the most grassroots thing in there, which is also interesting because when I do go to the battles nowadays, that's something I don't see.
Right.
I don't see enough artists selling music. Once in a while I see merch,
Right.
but I don't see a lot of people moving music.
Right.
A lot of battle rappers don't even have interest in making music,
maybe
which is
some
kind of
other
crazy
form, yeah.
because like every time like a battle rapper's in town, doesn't matter what the battle rapper. I mean, there's a handful that do make music, but I'm always like, hey, you know, come to the studio and let's make music, and it's almost never gets done because they're like, you know, battles. I don't really make
There are,
music.
you know, shout out to Arsenal.
There's like a handful. Like I know I like Tay Rock's music. I know Arsenal does music.
Hitman.
Cortez,
Yeah.
of course, he's really good at it.
Yo, Twerk, I didn't mention this in any of the other episodes, but Twerk has a song called Oasis.
Is it off the Jerusalem?
No, it might be on that project, but I think it's on the Ruin Your Day
Avocado,
Avocados, compilation album. Bro, that's my joint.
Dope.
That's my
What's
joint.
up, man?
I ran it
Dope.
back so many
glad to
times.
hear that, man.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
Shout out to Twerk.
Yeah, shout out to Ray, shout out to Ray.
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard. Told Jim I need a bomb I could drop on you niggas. Bad boy, I'm never gonna stop for you niggas. I don't give a fuck who you got is the illest. I solidify my spot with gorillas. Now I'm rock with you niggas.